Hello everyone, welcome back to another Go Magic video. Today I would like to present you the very recent game between Kejie and Ting. In this game, Ting is playing as white. The last move he decided to ladder the stone. Kejie peeps to create a ladder breaker. If white answers, black will probably run out and then white is going to collapse. So instead of that, decided to fix the ladder in a very efficient way. Black pierces through and white counterattacks by cutting black off. Black accepts the fight and then connects at the corner. White pulls the stone out and then played the small knight. Black kicks, white pulls the stone back. If white decides to push out, black has a hane here. White cannot cut, the only defense is to play the second line, but black has another Tsuji to play at on the first line. White still cannot fill in, white has the Atari, black connects. White still cannot fill in, if white Ataris, black can connect, and then white is dead. Which is why white decided to pull the stone back over here. Black jumps. This is obviously the most important place to play because it connects black's group and seals white in. White descends. The next move, white is looking at the hane here, and then this is trying to break out from this side. Black had no choice but to actually prevent white from doing so. Now, today's focus is on this corner. Today's the Go Magic is happening in this very complex corner. What you saw the next move was actually a variation that was not played. So let's first start with this big knight that you just saw. If white plays the big knight, black's best defense is to attach. When white tries to capture, black can just Atari. White captures and then black plays the 1-2 blocking move and forcing white to play a ko. This would become a very simple ko situation, except this is quite tiresome. This is quite tiring for white, just because if black is able to capture everything, if let's say, for example, if black captures over here, the entire white group is dead. On the other hand, black can probably have other ways to resist, such as playing the P18 if ever he realizes that he does not have enough ko threat. White has to capture and black can instead fight this ko, which is also a immediate ko. So in this variation, this is slightly better for black at this point because black seems to have a little bit more room for compromise. And then white probably needs to win this ko, otherwise white's group is going to die here. So this is not a favorable position for white at all. So this variation is easier to read out than some of the other variations. Now another variation for white to play out is to squeeze from the outside. This is following the principle of squeezing your opponent's eye space. Against this move, black has two variations. There's the Kosumi at 2-2, which is extremely complicated. And then there is the T18, which is not any less complicated. So with the T18 move, white's correct follow-up is to play Q19. Black plays out the Kosumi, and then white is going to Kosumi over here. Black connects, and then white plays something like this. Black pushes, white connects, black hops, and then white breaks the eye over here and then extend his liberty by playing these two moves. The result of this is that this is a favorable ko for white. However, the position is still going to be playable for black, with black sacrificing a corner and gaining insane outside, and later on approaching at f17. This is still a very playable game. Or black can also think about creating co-threats with this ladder breaker. So a lot of rooms for black to manage, to basically keep himself in the game. Alternatively, black can choose this Kosumi here, which is a slightly stronger response. If white turns, black can block over here. White has to take out the vital point, in which case black will just block. White turns, and then black will squeeze over here. If white hanes, black plays here, white plays here, and then black will capture. This becomes a very difficult fight for white, actually. So let's just play out the rest of the variation. So white is going to play here, black blocks, white goes back. These moves are just trying to squeeze point out of black without hurting white's liberties. Now white plays here, black squeezes here, white squeezes liberty, black keeps going, white keeps going, black plays here, and then white plays here, black plays here, white captures, black captures, white keeps trying to kill, and then when black plays here, white finally gets in, black now takes. So this is a immediate ko, with black having a few extra local ko threats. So let's say, for example, white's tried to find a ko threat over here. At this point, black can already just kill white here. So if white goes ahead and kill the corner, black can now turn here at q5. Now this group is already dead, and then black is insanely thick on the outside. This is a winning position for black at this point. All right, so every single move we can see leads to a very complex variation. That shows you how complicated such a small corner can be, and then how much reading that both players have to do to figure everything out. So in the actual game, actually, me did not figure everything out. Let's see if we missed any variation. So the next variation I want to talk about, we talk about the big knight, and we talk about the extending over here at s15. Another obvious move is actually for white just to play the p18. So against this move, if black just blocks, that would be a blunder, because now white can just squeeze black's eye space, and then this L-shaped group does not have a lot of liberties. So the best move is probably for black to play here. Then white can just peep in, and then we have this hane here. This actually goes back to the old variation. So let's see. Actually, I didn't even think about this move could be a good one. But there's also the possibility, I think, for white just to peep in. This also looks very dangerous for black as well. So if black hanes, we can just play here. If black connects, then we can extend towards the 1-2 point. So that's very difficult. There's a connection here. If you play here, then I believe white can just make an eye inside. So white can pretty much just play out this one. If black plays here, we can just make an eye. Now, as we can see, black only has 5 liberties. And basically black cannot kill the corner pretty much. So if you play here, white can just follow up, right? If you play here, this is eye kills no eye. And then black cannot win on the outside. So actually, see, even I just misread this so easily. With this, black can actually resist with this S18 move, and we go back to that covariation. But white has the possibility to play here. This is a very serious move against black's corner. Okay, so why didn't me play this one out? The reason is me was scared of this Tsuji here. This is indeed a very good move. So now let's say, for example, if so the way to kill is obviously not to Hane, because you've played this, black can just live with the other 1-2 vital point. If white keeps pushing over here, then black is able to Hane and then connect. And this is also a life shape for black. The only way for white to kill is to hop inside at T18 right now, in which case black can block over here. And then when white Hane connects, we can see this is a very big eye inside, which means white does not have enough liberties to kill black. Not to say, so let's say, for example, this is actually what is played out. It actually doesn't even work for white, right? White cannot even connect here because there's a Hane here. If white cuts, black extend, black is 4 liberties versus 3. If white tries to get himself back, there's a single digit Q level to Tsuji that is just to throw in. When white captures, we can Atari from behind, and that is game over as well. So because white cannot even connect at T14, and black has an insanely large eye in the corner, black has enough liberties to kill white. So this also explains why this move is not going to work, because black can just follow up with the same type of, with the same variation, basically. So because of this life-saving Tsuji at S19, that's why me did not play the turn at P18 here. As it turns out, although me read it out very well in the corner, he actually ignored a very sneaky variation that was later on suggested by Fine Art. That is for white to wedge at L17. So if black Ataris from the inside, white will connect. If black connects on top, because obviously there is a cutting point, white can now play out the S15 move. The correct move for black to live is to play the S18. However, there is problem with this move. So white can now attach over here. So normally this does not work for white, but we'll see what happens with this cutting point and at M18 doing its work. So when black plays over here, we can, so when black plays over here, white can simply Hane. If black extends, white can connect and black is dead. So black has to capture the stone, in which case white can Atari here. Black has to capture, white Ataris, and then black captures the stone. White finally Ataris at O19, and then for players who are in the down level, probably can instantly see what the problem is. So black needs to connect, and now white has a very serious cutting point. If black Ataris, white can extend, and then white is all connected underneath. The idea here is that the O19 move is a Miai against the corner as well as the cutting point here. A more resilient defense is for black to connect at at M18, preventing all the stuff that I just said, but white can counter attack with the Kosumi. When black blocks on top, white can just cut, and then this is going to play out. So I won't even continue over here because the amount of variation is just way beyond my ability. This is what we call total chaos, and this is like a 9p fighting problem, and even the players who are playing this game cannot read everything out from here because it's just too complicated. From an AI point of view, this is a completely equal game with both players in the 50-40% win rate. So probably hundreds of variations following up from this. What's going to happen between these two groups? Who is going to sacrifice and then gain influence on the outside? All those kind of questions. It's just impossible for a commentator of my level to figure out for you guys. But if you're interested, you can run this variation with AI, and you can probably figure out 1 or 2 branches that are that will result in an equal position for both sides. So Mi could have chosen that one, and given that he was a fighter, that's probably what he should have chosen, right? Since he loves fighting, then this wedge is definitely the move for him. So finally, we just want to briefly cover what happens when white plays the 2-2, right? This is also something that a lot of viewers might think about. Against this move, black can simply just play the extend over here. If white extends down, we can simply play out the block over here. And actually, before this, black can exchange this once. This is actually very important for black to exchange over here. When white blocks, then we can play out the P18. So at this point, if white just Hane connect, because of this very important exchange at S15, black can now simply connect, not letting white Atari and break the eye. So if white plays here, black can connect. Now if white plays here, black can follow up, and then white only has 2 liberties, but black has 3 liberties. If white plays here, it doesn't matter because black can just follow up. This also kills the corner here. If white Ataris, black can simply block over here. If white plays here, we have a throw in, and then black is alive. As long as black is alive, white is pretty much dead, or he has to struggle something awful to live himself. And obviously, if white turns right now, black can play the Hane here, and then later on make a very big eye for himself. This is also a very big eye for black, and then white is likely going to lose the liberty fight. So the 2-2 point, that looks very good. It was actually countered by a very simple move with this blocking at 2-3. Obviously, I haven't covered exhaustive variations for this line. You can check it out with AI, and then you can verify by yourself. I want to show you guys quickly the actual game. That is, I have never seen a move like this, right? Where you have a second line stone and you play a super monkey jump into the corner. This is the move that Mi was able to find during the game. It's not the best move. The correct variation, as I have laid out, was actually just to play out this variation. This is recommended by AI, but it's very understandable that a human player cannot find out this variation. So instead, Mi decided with his own invention to play out the huge monkey jump that I have never seen in my life in a professional game. Against this move, black decided to hane first and then simply connect. So the next move, white decides to play out this one. Well, if white plays out this move, black can actually make an eye, and of course before that, black can push once and then actually make an eye. This is a very difficult variation for white, because black has an eye, and then white has to play the connect, the squeeze, and then squeeze over here all by himself to try to kill the corner. So black actually has a lot more liberties than white. How can I put it? So it seems black does not have that many liberties, but actually black has way more liberties than you think. So let's say, for example, if white connects, well, before that, white will probably have to just squeeze from, we'll probably have to just peep here first. And as said, because of liberty problem here, white cannot even hane. So if white fixes the outside, now black can start squeezing the liberty. And just to show you how many liberties black has over here, if white goes ahead and play out this one, black just needs to keep the eye here and then keep going. So white needs to connect first, and then connect, and then play out this one, and then play out this one. And as we can see, white still has to play out the T19, and then that's just not going to happen, because now white does not have enough liberties. So this is a typical situation of eye kills no eye inside a corner, which explains you why in the actual game white decided to play the 2-2 variation. Black blocks, white hanes, black blocks, and then white connects. And at this point, black decided to play on the outside. I'll quickly show you guys what happened during this game. Black decided to attach, white throws in, and then eventually both players had to fight this ko here. And then game becomes extremely complicated. So if you're interested, you can check out their actual game with the SGF. I won't have enough time to cover the entire game because that just takes way too much time. There's a lot of cool stuff happening in this game. So if you're interested, go ahead and check it out. It's the most recent game between Kejie and Ting. But I think it was very enjoyable for me to present the details of the life and death. I wouldn't really say it's life and death, but just the fighting mechanics that can happen inside such a complex corner. It's probably the hardest problem that we have seen so far in Go Magic. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.